This is Henares making your day with part 9 of the book I wrote on Philippine history, chapter Renaissance and Enlightenment. It was inevitable that the revolution should be started by unreasonable, propertyless men like Bonifacio, and equally inevitable that it should be condemned at the start by reasonable men like Rizal. The principals would see their properties and offices in peril. The ilustrados would shrug their shoulders at the chances of a ragged mob without arms, without discipline, without allies. They would be idealistic in their own way, not necessarily a wiser man. They would believe in popular education, the inevitability of progress, and the wisdom of the majority, and prefer reforms to revolution, and revolutions from above to revolutions from below. The unreasonable Bonifacio, Andres Bonifacio, and the Katipunan had their way. They had their violent revolution. But many of them were very much influenced by the ilustrados and principales. It would be wrong and unwise to depreciate the contribution of Rizal and his class to the making of the Filipino nation. Rousseau and Voltaire in France were nobles, nobly born, and they did not march on Versailles or use the guillotine, but they, as much as the Paris mob, brought about the French Revolution in this fashion. Also, the ilustrados and principales, Rizal and the intellectuals of the propaganda movement, as much as Bonifacio and the Katipunan, would make the Philippine Revolution. They would supply the intellectual basis, the moral justification, the technical skills. They would write the proclamations. They would organize elections and assemblies, design trenches and plan campaigns, and negotiate the inevitable compromises. They would be the professionals to the distrusting amateurs of the proletariat and the peasantry. Sometimes betrayed, sometimes merely instructed and restrained. More about this after these messages. This is Henares making your day with part 9 of the book I wrote on Philippine history, chapter Renaissance and Enlightenment. Rizal and the ilustrados, of whom Rizal was to be the exemplar, teacher, an acknowledged leader, would do this above all. He, through them, would arouse a consciousness of national unity, of a common grievance and a common fate. Rizal would work through his writings in Spanish, which most of his countrymen did not speak or write. Yet his writings were read, overleaping the old barriers of sea and mountain and dialect, from vegan to Dapitan, and would persuade both the principales and the peasants that they were all equally Filipinos with a common destiny. Because of Rizal and his elite class, a class of peasants and artisans still gave the natural deference of the unlettered to the educated, of poverty to wealth, to whom they looked for guidance and leadership. What might have been another peasant rebellion in Cavite was transformed into the revolution of a new nation. The Middle Ages were coming to an end in the Philippines in the last quarter of the 19th century. It is no wonder that Rizal and his contemporaries should remind us of the Renaissance and Enlightenment. Stumbling out of the candlelit vaults of the age of faith, they blinked with amazed delight at the discovery of man and the world. The rush of fresh ideas made possible by the Suez Canal carried them away. They were ravenous for knowledge and experience. Like the Italian humanists, they wanted to do everything. To write, to paint, to sing, to carve, to fence, and they succeeded with surprising ease. Like the French encyclopedias, they wanted to understand and explain everything, and unwittingly ask questions that could be answered only by a revolution. In fact, they were already experiencing two revolutions in one: the revolution of the senses against the chastity of monasticism, and the revolution of the human reason against the comforting certitudes of the catechism. Soon, they would inevitably experience a third revolution, the revolution of race and nation against inequality and subjection. More tomorrow, my dear friends. This is Larry Henares, making your day, saying good day, God bless you. Thank you very much for being with us. Till next time, hasta la bye-bye.